Okay, again, I just made a box with and filled it in with a color, and then to make some texture. We're talking about textures today. I want to add a little bit of under effects, under texture, texturizer. I use grain, and then I use texturizer and sandstone to give my background a certain feel of texture to it. So that's one way to go about it. And so I'm going to delete that, start over. Okay, so that's one way of making a background. Another way of making a background, and some of the things that you see in the brochure that I was handing out, is she has some lines going. Okay, some lines going, just some kind of colored lines. An easy way and a fun way to make a subtle kind of lines or boxes is to use the blending tool. The blending tool. The blending tool is a great way to add, like, if you look in the handout, the one that I passed out, there was kind of little rectangles that went across, like a kind of a digital kind of effect to it. Did you see that one? It had little rectangles to it. You can do all kinds of things like that with the blending tool. So I want to talk about the blending tool for a moment. Let me have a little bit of blue here so we give our little digital text. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a kind of a pattern using what's called the blending tool, the blending tool. How you do that is I'm going to make a series of rectangles, and I'm going to duplicate a rectangle. Oh, I'm going to turn off the stroke. I'm going to turn off the stroke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate a series of rectangles across the page here. Not worrying about too much about them spaced apart. The reason why I'm not worried about them spaced apart is I'm going to use the alignment feature to evenly align them, as well as making sure that they are evenly spaced apart. So what you can do is if you do something like I just did right there, where you can say, okay, the space between this one and this one is small, but the space between this one and this one's a little bit big. Wouldn't it be nice if they were all evenly spaced all the way across? All it is a rectangle that I duplicated using the option click and drag, of course, technique. What I want to do is I'm going to select all of my rectangles that are across the top here, and once you have them selected, you can use what's called the alignment feature. It's under Window Alignment. Under the alignment option, you have something called evenly distribute, which is this one right here, horizontal evenly distribute. If I click on the horizontal evenly distribute, it will easily space them all evenly across. So it's this one right here. Which one? Option click and drag to duplicate. Evenly space them, because you're never going to copy and paste it exactly right. You could put a grid on there and try and line things to grids, but whew, that's too much work. Grids are way too much work for me. So again, I can just click and drag, 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 and then once I have them all, I can select them all. And once they're all selected, again, it's underneath alignment, under Window Alignment. In the alignment feature, you have, again, this aligns to left, aligns center, align right, vertically distribute top, vertically distribute bottom, vertically distribute top. So you got things like that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do next is I'm going to have the boxes kind of duplicated, but I'm going to have them kind of blend as they're being duplicated, and I'll show you what I mean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate these boxes kind of down the page. So how I duplicate them down the page is I'm going to highlight them all, and I'm going to hold down the Option key, and I'm going to click and drag, holding down the Shift key as I'm dragging so that they're all evenly spaced. There we go. Then I'm going to change the opacity of each of these rectangles. Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Okay, so 6 into 100 is what? What's 6 into 100? Not even, is it? No. I guess if we started with 5, it would have been easier because we've done 20% each. Because what I want to do is I'm going to adjust the opacity of each one of these by a certain percentage. The opacity again for this rectangle is located under the appearance window. So if I select a rectangle and go to the appearance window, you'll know underneath fill here, see it says opacity right there. I can then go and click on the word opacity and give it a certain opacity. This one's going to be 15%. It's still a little blue, don't worry. And then this one I'm going to click opacity, and that one was 15, what's 30% maybe? There we go. And I'm going to click on this one, I'm going to click on opacity, and I'm going to go to 45. How about that? And then click on this one, and then click on this one, and go, what's 45 plus 15? 60? And then this one, and opacity, and then I'm going to go to what? 60 plus 15? 75? Okay, so we don't have an even because I didn't have even. Okay, so again, this program is very mathematical. You can see I'm making boxes. I'm evenly distributing them by using the alignment features, evenly distributing them, and then duplicating things by clicking and dragging using the option key. So what I want to do now is I want to have a kind of a pattern. How I'm going to make this pattern is by clicking on a box. Let me see if this is going to work, what I'm trying to do. Hold on, let me see if it's going to work. Let me see if it's going to work. It did work. And then, hold on, I'm trying first. Uh-oh. Ooh, that looks kind of interesting. There we go. Oh, and it's even rotating there. There we go. Okay. I kind of messed it up a little bit. So what I wanted to demonstrate is that you can use what's called the blend tool to alter your shape. And let me undo this a couple times here. So once I have kind of a grid kind of thing that you see here, where I have some rectangles that are 100% opacity and some rectangles that are a little bit opacity, then I have them kind of aligned up in a grid kind of pattern like this. What I can do is I can start manipulating them and doing things using what's called the blend tool. And how the blend tool works is it works by duplicating the object over a series of steps. So if you wanted to blend maybe this rectangle over here with this rectangle over there, I can use what's called the blend tool, which is located in the toolbar here, called the blend tool. And if I click on it, click on one here, and then click on another one, it'll blend. So you can think of all the patterns you can get with a kind of a grid like this. And then if you click on another one, it'll go and blend to that. And then maybe if I go there, uh-oh, now I'm starting to get a blend that way, and then that way, and then, well, I went over here. Let me try clicking here. There we go. And then let me click here. There we go. And then here. So I'm starting to make some kind of grid pattern that you can see. You know, I just wanted you to see how this kind of might work with making a pattern. It's quite interesting tool. It's called the blend tool, and you can use it to make things like this very easily. And of course, this would be a very busy kind of background, but what I can do is I can highlight it. And of course, you know, even apply an opacity to the whole thing here, so it's very subtle. There we go. Look at that. That's kind of a background. You can barely see it, but I can then put artwork over top of that and still read it. But it makes a cool background. So let me undo this, and I'll go back in time and go over it again with you. Okay? Let me go over it again with you. Okay, again, all I did was make some rectangles that are different color or different opacities, just so they're a little bit subtle. You can change the opacity of these ones. How do I change the opacity? The opacity of the rectangle is changed in the appearance window. If you don't see the appearance window, it's under window appearance, the window appearance. If you click on a rectangle, you can then go to where it says fill. Under fill, there is an opacity right there, or right here, I believe this works too. And if you click on the word, you can change the opacity down. That's how I get a lighter blue. The reason why I didn't want to change the color of the rectangle, which you perfectly can do, change the color, is so that it stays in the same hue, right? By just changing the opacity, it's still the same color, it's just less, less saturated. You can change the color. Let's put a red one in there. I'm going to click on one of these rectangles. I'm going to change the color to a red. Let's see what that does. Woo! We threw a red one in there. Okay, well, let's use the blending tool. Again, it's this one right here. It's called the blending tool. How it works is by clicking on two objects and it'll blend in between. Let's try it. I'm going to click on this one and then click on this one. Boom! And then click on this one. Boom! Uh-oh. Look what it did. It made it nice and smooth. Well, as you're doing it and using it, you can actually designate the number of steps if you want using the blending tool. So if I click on the blending tool twice, you can see you have some options. There's options. So again, I click twice on top of the blending tool. I can change it from smooth color to specified steps. And I can say, oh, I only want to do 10 steps, or 11 steps in this case. So again, there's some options for the blending tool. For this blending tool, by double clicking on the blending tool, you can specify steps.
My blending tool's not doing anything.
Okay, hold on. It's not changing anything at all. Instead of using boxes to make your pattern, which is all fun and games there, you can actually just use a line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pencil tool, and I'm going to draw a nice smooth line. And I'm not going to have a fill to it. I'm going to turn the fill off, but I'm going to have a stroke to it. And I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. Something like that. So again, all I did was use the pencil tool, drew a line with my pencil tool, gave the line a color using the stroke color, no fill, 0, turn off the fill, you can turn off your fill there, give your line a color, add a little weight to it so it's a little thicker than a very thin line, and then I'm going to draw another line, again using a different kind of wave maybe. Oh, I don't like that wave. Maybe start from this side. And then change that color so it's different than red. And then draw another line. Draw another line. Ooh, I don't like that one. Try and keep them smooth. The reason why I'm deleting some that I don't like is because they're not as smooth as I want them to be. Change the color of that one. And now I'm going to draw one more. Change the color of that one. Okay, so we can use the same kind of blending tool that I used last time to kind of blend these together. So in order to get them to blend properly, I'm going to click on the blending tool only on the outside. If I click on this side of the line and then click on this side, what it's going to do is it's going to try and flip it around as it blends. I'll show you what I mean. If I click on the blending tool now, and I click from here to here, it's going to give me a nice kind of smooth kind of line. But I don't want it to be kind of the way you're seeing it, where it's nice and smooth. If you remember, I wanted it to be kind of steps. So in this case, if you remember what I was showing, if I double click on the blending tool, I can adjust the spacing. So again, if I double click on the blending tool, I can adjust the spacing, and I'm going to say specified steps. And I'm only going to put in maybe 10. And then hit preview. Oh, there we go. I'm starting to get a pattern. Maybe not 10. How about 14? Let's see what that one looks like. Maybe that's a little bit better. So now you get the kind of wave action, what I'm looking for. 14, let's try 17. Oh, there we go. You can see I'm getting kind of a wave. This is what I was looking for, and that's why. Again, I'm specifying steps by double clicking on the blend tool, and then specify steps, and only a certain amount of steps. Okay? And you can do that again with another one, and then again with another one, and you can get this kind of more of a pattern kind of feel to it, and it's more of a, it doesn't look beautiful right there, but of course we already know how we can cut that out, right? Remember doing the clipping mask, right? Or clipping option, right? That, it looks kind of rough, but if I just draw a box around it, if I draw a box around it, and then go underneath, select everything, and go underneath Object, Clipping Mask, Make. Look at that background. Perfect for that psychedelic poster in San Francisco, right? Yeah, think of all. You think if the Grateful Dead had Illustrator back then, right? Okay, so practice that for a moment. I think I can. Let me try. No, because the mask is in the way. If I turn off the mask, maybe I can. If I click on my pattern here, go under Effects, what did I say? Color halftone. And no, that's not what I want. What do I want? Effects. What did I say? Halftone, halftone, halftone. Mezzotint.
Just search for it in the search bar up top.
Where? I'm sorry.
The magnifying glass on the my upper right. Search.
Oh, this?
Yeah, right below that.
Oh, no, that's searching the this. I don't know. What did I just say? I wanted to look at half tone. Don't know if that will work or not. No, it's just, their search is just useless. I'm sorry to say. It did give me an option there. It did. I don't know. I was searching last night for stuff. I mean, you would think with the Google world that search would be great, but Adobe Help Search is just useless. Yeah, talking to you, Adobe. Oh, it's in here. I saw it. Didn't we see it? It was called Halftone Dots. Was it under Artistic? Do you see anything halftone? Color, posterize, restaurant, or something. Well, these are all textures we could apply. You know, you could do your smudge stick. And I don't know if no, that's only doing inside the artwork. I wanted something out that will blend outside the artwork. Here's a halftone pattern. No, you have to do it on, I have some techniques. You have to actually do it on a layer above and then blend it like we did with the fruit. Let's just move on. You get the idea here. That was fun.
Under pixelate, there's a color halftone.
Which one?
Color.
Color?
Pixelate, I'm sorry. Under pixelate.
Pixelate. Yeah, no, that didn't work for it. It does do something, but you have to type in everything you want. It's typing in angles, and yeah, that's for the math. I used to have a math teacher in my class, and he knew how to do all that, and he would actually make his own filters. It was all math. Okay, let me get back to my poster. That's what I was going to show, right? Yeah. There we go. Okay, so here's my artist statement that we were working on last class. In this case, I'm going to put a little I'm going to put something in the background down here that's going to be kind of subtle in the background. So all I need to do is find an interesting piece of artwork from this artist. What is his name? Duchamp. There it is. And we can go what? Images. And this might work. It's kind of high resolution and stuff. So we got the greatest piece of art ever, a bicycle wheel upside down on a chair. So maybe this could be a nice subtle background for my artist statement. How I could use this as a nice subtle background is by, of course, saving it. I'm going to save it into my folder, save image as. I'm going to put it in my artist statement folder. This is the wheel. Then inside Illustrator, I'm going to go and place it in there. To place it in Illustrator, I'm going to go underneath File, Place, choose my artwork that we just discussed, if I can find it, the wheel, and then I'm going to place it in my project in the background. Well, now if I try and put text over that, you're never going to see that, right? But what did we talk about doing with the patterns that we were making? Well, we were blending them, right? Or in this case, opacity. So even though this is a background right here, we can actually select it and we can go to the opacity and we can turn the opacity down so it's very subtle. Now I have a little bit more interesting background. Oh, you guys can't really see that because of the projector. Again, it was under appearance, under the appearance one. I'm going to turn it up. I'm going to kind of exaggerate it so you can see it. But I would probably make it a little bit more subtle than what you see there. So again, using one of the artist's artwork in the background and just change the opacity. Interesting background, right? Quick and easy way of doing it. Much more interesting than just a plain white background. Okay? Now I can put text and stuff over top of it and it looks a little bit more interesting. That's just one way of going about it. Again, how I change the opacity is I select my picture. Under the appearance window is an opacity option, and you can make your background a little bit more interesting. Okay, let's move on. Let me stop this recording. I talked about last time about how files are linked when you place them. Again, bitmap images, or these graphics that you see here, are linked to the original file that is on your computer. The downfall, of course, is that if you move it or delete the image off your computer, it won't be in Illustrator anymore because it's linked to it. That's why it's called linked. If you want to avoid the problem of having linked files, you can do what's called embedding. The downfall of embedding your graphics is that that graphic now will become part of your Illustrator file, and your Illustrator file will be larger because you just took a bitmap image or a picture and made it part of the Illustrator file. So the advantage of it being linked is that the Illustrator file is less, plus you can change this separate file and it'll automatically update. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean by linked file? A linked file is something that is not in the program. It's kind of a reference to another file, So if you want to embed, it's very easily, you select your graphic, your bitmap image, and there's a big option. It says right at the top of the screen, embed. If you click on it, it then becomes a part of it. And you'll notice it changes in the layer window. It changes to the word image. See that? So if I click on, let's say, the fabulous pipe here, and hit embed, watch what happens. Boom, it says image now instead of linked. Click on another one, the bicycle, boom, embed, it's image. Again, I've just increased, though, my Illustrator file. But if I delete my bitmaps off my hard drive now, I'm not going to lose them in my Illustrator file because now they're part of the Illustrator file. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move on. I'm going to link these so I don't mess them up. Link them so I don't mess them up. Next, I'm going to go and get some artwork from this artist again. We're already online. What are some other famous artists? Is this we already did a toilet, right? Oh, he did nude descending staircase though. He's famous for that one, right? Which one? Oh, the Mona Lisa with the mustache. Yeah. Okay, so we'll put those two in. So what's one? This one, nude descending staircase. That's not a very good quality image. I'm not going to use that one. So I'm looking for something that's a little bit more higher resolution. This one looks better. It's not all pixelated. Again, I can right-click and save image as. So try and use the best quality you can get. We need the Mona Lisa, right? Oh, here it is, the Mona Lisa with a, ooh, I like the close-up here. And let me get one more. What else did he do? We already got the bicycle wheel, we got the toilet, we got the pipe smoking. Maybe one that is not as known as much, maybe. There's got to be other ones. What is this one? Oh, the shovel. I remember once I went with my friends in college. Our teacher took us to the Cleveland Museum of Art, I think it was, and there was 4 of us that went along with our teacher, because she was Santa Barraza was her name, and she took us to the Cleveland Museum of Art one day. Instead of going to class, we went on field trip, and John Kuda, one of the guys I was with, he picks up the shovel. I said, "That's the shovel. That's a piece of art." He picks it, and he goes, "What the hell is this? This is not art." And he starts waving it around in the gallery like this. I'm like, we're gonna get arrested. It was probably one of his, too. Okay, I might download this anyways. Uh-oh, I clicked on it. Okay, the shovel. Okay, let's get back to our poster. Oh, the one other thing I need, of course, is text. Of course, you should write your text and not just steal from Wikipedia, especially in your English class, right? Shop, that's what we're doing here, right? Okay, so again, since I'm not very good at writing, I'm going to just steal from Wikipedia. So I'm looking for columns of text, so I'm going to try and copy several columns of text here. So I'm just going to grab some text just so that I could show you how to do columns of text. I'm going to copy from Wikipedia. I'm going to go back to my artist statement, and let's talk a little bit about putting columns of text inside of Illustrator. Now, Illustrator works kind of like InDesign or any other publishing program in that you can draw a box, okay, and then put the text in the box and then make another box. Before I do that, I want to have my guidelines on there. What are guidelines? These things, these little blue line, I think I showed you that last time. It's called a guideline. And this guideline, it will help me make my boxes a specific size so that they're even inside of the document. For example, this is 8.5, or no, this is 11 by 17, right? So if we were going to split the 11 up, this is 1/2 inch here on this side. So I might take and make another 1/2 inch on this side over here by putting my cursor in the rulers to make these guidelines right here. They're called guidelines. I'm going to use the ruler option. I put my cursor, and if you don't see rulers, or under view, rulers, show right here. Right now it's hide, show. Once you have the rulers inside there, you can put your cursor inside of the ruler, hold the mouse down, and drag out. I'm going to make one over here at a 1/2 inch. So I have one over here at a 1/2 inch, one over here at a 1/2 inch. I have two guidelines. This is not quite a 1/2 inch, is it? I'm going to move it over a little bit. Oh, I was trying to line up with the text here. And I'm probably going to move my text so it lines up. So I'm going to go right there. Okay, there we go. How do I know what's a 1/2 inch? Well, this is 11 inches right here, right? So this is a 1/2 inch right there. Same with here. 0 is there. 1/2 inch would be here. 1 inch would be there. 1.5 would be here. 2 inches is there. So you can see the actual measurement. So right now we have actually 10 inches of space, right? Why? Because between this one and this one, 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch there is 1 inch, right? And if it's 11 inches, it's 10 inches. So you want to kind of think in the middle, okay? So if I want to have a gutter, what a gutter is a space between two columns of text. We call that a gutter that goes down the middle. Gutter, like you would have a gutter in your house, gutter. So I want to have a gutter that's maybe a 1/2 inch at least in the middle between the two columns of text. So again, what would 1/2 of 11 be? It's 1/2 of 11. 5.5, right? Here's 5. Is this 5 right here? 5.5. This would be right in the middle. Is that correct? 1/2 of 11. So let's put a guideline there, right there. Okay. Then, if that's directly in the middle, of course, a 1/4 inch to one side would be 5.25. And if I click and hold the mouse down and go, here's the center again, I'm going to go 1/4 over here. Now I have two guidelines. So I got from here to here, and then from here, this is 1 inch, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here. Just by, doing that. I'm sure those of you who are from another country that doesn't use inches can do centimeters too. But that's how I made it. So now I can draw my boxes of text, and I know that they're going to be even spaced. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Putting the guidelines on. Now I can use the text tool. Here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to use the text tool. You don't need to use the area type tool. That's a different type of type tool. Just use the plain text tool. Use the plain text tool. Scroll down a little bit here. And I'm going to draw a box of text down my page, and then I'm going to paste the text inside there by going under Edit, Paste, and it pastes my text in there. Now, of course, my text is awful small. You can select your text and make it bigger if you want. Again, to adjust your text, you can use the character window here. And you can change your font to whatever font you want. Make a nice readable font. Don't use a crazy font. You wouldn't use this popular standard black here for your text. Nobody's going to be able to read that. If I zoom in there and then I come over here, whoo! I mean, it might look awful fun, but boy, that's going to be hard to read that. Okay, again, you want to use something that's very readable. Nothing too light. Again, you're going to print this out. Light text is hard to read too. Maybe a simple text. You can even use serif text if you want. That's quite nice. If I'm using serif text, I might increase my leading a little bit more. So there's a little bit more space. In addition, you might want to make sure that there is an indent at the beginning of each paragraph, right? Isn't that like when you read a newspaper or magazine article, you have a little indent at the beginning of each paragraph, right? You can do things like that inside of Illustrator. To do that, we got the paragraph window. Okay, so all the text options that we're talking about now are under the. Now let me close some of these windows. I got things I don't need here. I don't need that. I don't need this. Don't need that. I'm just working with characters. So in this case, I changed the font. I gave it a little bit more leading, so there's some space between the lines. Next, what I want to do is adjust some of the paragraph options. So again, it's under Window, Type, Paragraph is what I'm talking about. In the paragraph options, if I could find it, oh, it's somewhere in this window here. Oh, geez, not this one. Oh, here it is. You got to move your windows around a little bit. Move the windows around. Okay, here. I finally found it. Might be attached to another window. In the paragraph option, there's a variety of different things I think we talked about. Of course, we got left aligned, ragged right. We have center aligned, which is horrible to try and read. Remember our discussion where you're reading a line, I'm reading a line. I get to the end, I need to start over here. If it's not lined up over there, it's harder for me to start my eye to start reading that way. So center isn't very good. Right you would have the same problems with right align. But left align is much better because as I'm read, when I get to the end, I can go back over here to this line because it's nice and even on the side over here, right? Okay, let's talk about indenting the first line in the paragraph. If you look in the paragraph window, you'll notice the second option here has like a little arrow. It says first line left indent. Do you see that? And you can do that by a specific number. I can put a number in there, and let's put in maybe I don't know, 14 point. Let's see what that does. Oh, that's not too bad. It gives me a little space there. Okay, so each paragraph now has a little starting. It's not at the very end. That's common to do that. Okay, again, it's an easy way. Of course, you have some problems with this line down here all by itself. We'll talk about that. There's a little line all by himself down there. We call that a orphan or a widow, something like that. So that's some things I can do. Notice in my columns of text, you'll notice there's a little red X at the bottom down here. See the little red X? What that red X is telling me is there's more text than the box size, right? There's more text than the box size. So I need to make another column of text is what it comes down to over on the other side over here. So how I make another column of text over here on this side is I'm going to click on the red X. I'm going to let my finger up. Notice how my cursor changes to a cursor that looks different. I'm going to come up here to the edge of where my second column is going to be. I'm going to click with my mouse, and it puts the second column of text in automatically exactly the same size as the first one. I'll do that again. To make a second line of text, I click on my text. Notice there's a little box on the bottom down here and has a little red X right there. That's telling me that there's more text than what's in this box. If I click on that little red X down there, my cursor changes to what's called text threading, and if I click up here where I want it to be, it'll actually make my second column of text. Now the advantage of doing that and not making and linking them, because this column of text now is linked to this one. If I start removing things, watch what happens. If I don't want this paragraph right here. This paragraph is not what I want. If I hit delete, notice how everything kind of moves around, right? It moves around because they're linked together. This column now is linked to this column. That looks a little better. Let me pause and stop this